Okay, so this is what we have right now. We have our 1/4 inch slab sandwiched around the long rectangular strip. Okay, so you have one circle here, and this put together. Okay, and so we are going to put the design on top of this, and you should have a worksheet that you have completed. So this is the original, okay? And then I went and made a copy of it, and actually I made 2, okay? Because I don't want you to ruin what you have and have to redo any of this, okay? We might as well make a copy, and this is something that's original anyways, so you're just using multiples of it. So from here, you're gonna go ahead and cut this out. Okay, so I have this section, I've removed the rest of it, and so if we're looking at it, let me slide this over. This is what's going to be on the top of, or the front of our mandala, okay? And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this design cut out of this 1/4 inch piece and scored and slipped on top of this. Okay, and so we want to try and do this the most efficient way possible so we're not like wasting our time. Okay, and so the first thing that we want to do is use our slab here, line this piece up. Okay, and if you wanted to go through and like trim this extra part off, you could. That's kind of up to you, but I'm going to use a pencil and I'm going to go through and I'm going to trace over all of my lines. Okay, so I'm transferring this design onto this piece of clay. And so by going over these lines, when you peel this back, you can see a shape that's kind of indented into there. Okay, so this is going to make it easier for you. You're just going to go back, and if you don't know where you've been, you can feel it. If you rub your hand on top of this, you can feel that there are dents here, and there are no dents over here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trace this, okay, and just kind of make my way around. You kind of think about how you can do this best. If you want to do one layer at a time or one pie piece at a time, but you're going to trace all the way around. Let's see, and sometimes you just can't see it, and you've got to feel. I'm going to do these first 2 layers first. Oops. Okay, and you can even see it kind of stick to the clay. Sometimes the longer it sits on this, it can leave a little bit of paper stuck to it. It's not a big deal. The paper will not withstand the kiln, so you don't need to worry about it. And I wouldn't try and even pick it off. Okay, so one more here for this section. I would try and get it all mapped out first and drawn on here, because there's no way you're going to line this back up. It's just impossible, okay? So I'm going to go through on this section. I've done that one. I'm going to go underneath. Okay, and it might not be perfect. You're going to have to still use your own, I guess, gut feeling on if you need to correct anything. Okay, and you can see how it kind of stuck right there. Okay, so I've got all those. So you can peel this off. I mean, you don't really even need to worry that, I guess you don't even need to trim it because you don't need that piece. Okay, so you can see your design is transferred onto this. That didn't take very much time. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside, and then I'm gonna put this up here and kind of talk about why you need to trace it on this one. This paper has already absorbed some of the water. I think I would go ahead and use another one. With how easy it is to make a photocopy, I'll just make you another copy if you need one. Or if you feel like you mess up. It's just the longer it sits there, it's gonna absorb it. Okay, so we made the pattern on the first piece, like transferred that. Now what we're gonna do is put this on top of here, and we need to make like a key. Where are those pieces going? Most people think, oh yeah, I can just like cut these out and I'll just put them on here and it'll look perfect, okay? I'm sorry, you think that you can like gauge where things are. It just doesn't work. You need to have your perfect pattern that you made put on here and it decide where things go, okay? You already decided, you just need to transfer this. Okay, so you're gonna look at this and you're gonna try and line this up. You want the same amount of gap all the way around. Okay, and then once you start drawing this, it will kind of stick like you saw on that last one. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing and trace this. Okay, and however you want to, just make sure it all gets traced. So this time I'm going to do all of the center part, and I'll just go back and do one row at a time. And if you can't tell, you can feel it. Okay, so I've done all that. Some of this is the hardest part of the design is creating the design. Like transferring this on here, not as difficult because you've already done all the hard work. Okay, so I've done all those. I'm going to do all of the center. So I'm going to have two designs. One of them is going to be a guide and one of them is going to be the actual design. So let's peel this off. Okay, so pretty awesome. I have this one where I'm going to line like these pieces up on top. Okay, now what some people want to do is they want to like cut this out, flip this piece over, score and slip it, score and slip this one, and then put it on. And they've done one piece. Okay, what I suggest you do is you go through on this and you're still going to see your indents on here. I would go through and score and slip all of these. Okay, you don't have to put your tool down, okay, as many times, but you do have to score and slip all these little pieces on. This little extra stuff will come off with a paintbrush, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so get all this scored and slipped. And then before you cut anything out on this one, flip this over, score and slip the entire back. Okay, like some of this will end up being trash. Okay, but it's so much faster to go through and say, okay, I just scored and slipped the whole back of this. And so then when you flip this over to cut these pieces out, okay, so I would put like slip on the back of this. Okay, like I would just dot this on, cover the whole thing. So some of it's just the method to how you put it on. Are you doing things the quick way or a very slow way? Okay, now this could stick. I'm going to put this paper towel that's underneath this part under it. You could put a plastic bag. I guess that wouldn't absorb water. Okay, but if you get all of this done, this is less like intricate because it's just one big piece. And so then you can go through and flip this over and grab your cutting tool, which I don't see. Okay, we're just going to use this carefully. You might, some of these might be a little bit unique, but really it shouldn't matter. Wherever you start, just kind of work your way around, right? And so you would cut out this piece, and then this would get attached to, I guess these need slipped, would get attached up here. Okay, so you're just like taking out your puzzle piece and like cutting this section, popping this piece out, and then putting it in place. Okay, do you see how this would make this really fast? I mean, it really is. You want to make sure that you press these on, okay, that they've fully like adhered to that, and that you take a paintbrush and just go around and paint and smooth things out. So we're going to attempt to get one side done. Because of the time crunch, this is a nice project that gives us a little bit more wiggle room. We don't have to get the other side done and it would still look finished. So this is a good thing to do at the end when I can't get everybody to work at the same speed. Okay, so this is what you want to do, and this is where you want to head. Make sure you score and slip. This can be a project if you don't score and slip these. I have some people who will cut all of these out, stick them all on, I put it in the kiln and fire it, and everything falls off. Okay, and then they have a completely blank pot. Okay, so make sure you're scoring and slipping, and then think about making this more of an assembly line to put everything together. Okay, and then if you do get to two sides, hey, that's a bonus.